2026 is on the horizon with resources by Renae. This is the year we slow down, lean in, and let God speak through their renewal and wisdom. Psalm 51 is our surrender. Proverbs is our strategy. The studio is open again, and come along for the journey.
Welcome back, Proverbs Challenge 2026. We are on chapter 19, which means we're at day 19 and you're still with us. So thank God. We thank you for being here with us for our third year of the Proverbs Challenge. And again, we have our friend here, Eric. Eric, can you remind them who you are?
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Was born in Jersey, lived there for some time. Here in Florida, enjoying it every step of the way. I'm so glad to be here at Calvary Christian Center and just, to be able to be a part of this community, because community is definitely how God is able to move in your life. And so
Amen.
thankful to just be here,
We're not meant to do life alone.
No.
So this is what community is about. I just love Eric. He is so wise for his age. I'll tell you that. Thank God for you. So let's dive right in for chapter 19. So what about this chapter? Do you want to give us like a summary, or do you want to just dive into some verses? You take it from here.
Okay. I think so. There's a lot of wisdom, like Proverbs. Like I said before, it's all about wisdom. And so I think this chapter, there's a lot of just like golden nuggets, like so many different things that you can take from with each verse. But I think the biggest thing that Solomon's trying to communicate in this chapter, or how it all just kind of ties in, is time.
Right.
And I'm gonna get into that.
Okay.
It might sound like, wait, what is that? I didn't even hear the word time in this entire chapter.
I was like, okay, where'd you get that?
But the biggest thing that I keep on hearing is like the defiance of time. And so, or the distortion, I'm sorry, not defiance, but the distortion of time. You see, time has its way of kind of distorting your outlook on it. So, the past, it's not in this very moment. The present isn't in this very moment. And so what happens is, sometimes as people, we tend to stay so focused in the past, or we tend to go so far ahead in the future. And really the most important thing is being like grounded and centered into the present right now in this moment. And so like the thing that comes to mind when I think of the past is like healing your history.
That's good.
Because listen, I've experienced it. I've gone through times in my life when I've experienced some pain, some offenses that has led to overthinking, and it even leads to sleepless nights.
Right.
All because I've allowed an offense and unforgiveness to rule my life. And so I'm dwelling in the past. The Bible even talks about dwelling in the past in Psalms. It says, don't dwell in the past, for I am making a new thing.
Absolutely.
And so what happens is, as people, we tend to dwell in the past, and then what that does is it's not realistic. It's a distortion, because the past isn't right now. You can't control, fix, or change the past.
But that's why our rearview mirror is little.
Right.
It's in the past. You're not supposed to be looking at it too long.
Right.
You got to be looking at the big.
It even says that objects may be distorted. No, it does. That's so crazy that you brought that up, because it says that.
You're not supposed to be looking back. That's why that rearview mirror is this little.
Wow.
So you got to be looking forward. The big picture is right there.
That's so good.
Keep focus on the future.
That is so good. That is so good. I'm just shocked by that, because that like just really tied in with all of this.
So so 19 had a lot about, like you said, wisdom. I'll tell you. Do you mind if we get right into the verse with the wealth, or do you want to go different directions?
No, we can go right into the wealth. Yeah.
I liked verse 4, I should say. Wealth makes many friends. Poverty drives them all away. Now, when I looked at that, Eric, I saw people will be around you if you got money. If you're giving out money, you're going to spend money on them, you're going to take. But then when you don't have any money, we can't find anybody.
Wow. The thing that I immediately think of when I hear that verse is the story of the prodigal son, where he asked for that blessing ahead of time and he splurged it. And, when you have wealth, everybody wants to be your friend. And when he had nothing, what was he doing? He was literally eating out of the pig.
Where are they now?
Right. Where are they now? They weren't anywhere to be found. And it's because, there's a lot of wisdom with knowing how to use your wealth when you use it for friends and people who are
Yes.
only temporary in your life,
Yeah.
um, when you're not wealthy anymore, when things don't turn so great, you're gonna really see who your true
I
friends
was gonna
are.
say that.
Yeah.
Your friends will be there when you're up, when you're down,
Yep.
when you have
True
money, when you
friends.
don't have money.
Right.
Find out who's there, who's left behind.
Right. And but talking about that, like I heard this like kind of like example of
Mhm.
life and friendship.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a metro train station.
Okay.
And so what happens is you get on the train and that's the start of your life. And there's going to be people that start off in your life in that train, in
Mhm.
your life as friends. And as you go on this
That's
journey in life,
good.
people will
Get
get
off.
off. And so some people were going to be there, from the beginning and then maybe gets off in the middle of your life. Some people stay there for quite some time, but then they get off.
Man,
And
that's
that's
good.
difficult. Those
That's
are the
good.
difficult
That's
friends to
good.
be able to like that's kind of difficult to navigate. And then some people stay to the very end. And
Mhm.
so like I think like that helped me understand this thing called like about relationships and friendships because not everybody's supposed to go through this journey with you because they have their own path that they're designated to go through.
Well, they're for seasons too. They're
Right.
for seasons. When I was teaching
Right.
high school, I would see the freshmen come in, and everybody's your friend as a freshman. You got these little cliques, and then by the time they mature into their senior
Yeah.
year, they have like one friend from that
Right.
group of
From the
girls
entire
or a
group.
group of guys. It's only one because everybody had a different path or
Yeah.
purpose, interests.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're not friends anymore. I was like, but that's okay.
Right.
So that's where we get hung up is that
Yeah.
we're heartbroken over it, but that's okay
Right.
because they were in your life for a reason and for a season.
Yeah. I think that's
And
the biggest thing. Like, so when I talked about the future and the past, the biggest thing for me that I've
mm-hmm,
always struggled with is
mm-hmm,
the past. I always dwell in the past, and I am
mm-hmm,
trying to rebuke that off of my life.
mm-hmm,
It's hard though, because that's just where my mind goes.
mm-hmm,
And so for me, like the verse that stood out to me in
mm-hmm. Go
Proverbs
ahead.
19 was a person's wisdom yields patience.
Mm.
It is to one's glory to overlook an offense.
Now, what verse is that one?
And that's 19:11.
Okay.
So a person's wisdom yields patience. It's to one's glory to overlook an offense. And so for me, that whole relationship thing, it's difficult when you lose a friendship
Mm-hmm.
that you were expecting to,
Right.
be your ride or die, your long-term friend, especially even if it's, you lost it through betrayal,
A misunderstanding or
misunderstanding,
betrayal.
betrayal, something
Yeah,
that is
that's
like
very
that
hard.
like I've said that this is what it is and I created that, solution in my mind that oh, this is betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that made me realize how to heal from something like that, healing your past,
Right.
healing your history is it's to one's glory to overlook an offense.
Yes. Yes.
And so I think that, it's not saying to just not think about the issue and always to not like even one of the biggest things that I even thought of was like you can be offended,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like don't think that you have to allow yourself to constantly be offended.
Right.
When it
Right.
says
That's good.
it's to one's glory to overlook an offense, it's not saying that you're supposed to be somebody that just constantly is okay to be mistreated,
Right.
to
Right.
be
Right.
overlooked and all those things. That's not what this is saying. This is saying it's to one's glory to overlook an offense. There's some offenses that we are required to overlook
Mm-hmm.
as people. I think of us as, as humans, we think that we're the main character in our story. You're your own main character and
Right.
I'm my
Right.
own main character. But one of the things that helped me realize or just helped me to overlook an offense is to look at the other person's story.
That's good.
I am the villain in their story. Why?
Yeah.
Because they might be the villain in my story and they offended me, they're the villain, but what did I do for them to offend me?
Mm-hmm.
When I look at it like that, it changes the entire thing because now I don't want to
Yeah.
go from a position or start from a position of offense. I want to go from a position of love and wisdom.
So, do you think this is again the reason why we're doing this theme this year is asking God to search us?
Yeah.
What is it that? Why am I so offended by what
Yeah.
they did?
Yes.
Is it something that is in me?
Yeah.
And sometimes they might not even know that they offended you,
Yeah.
and that's why communication's big, and we won't go down that.
Huge.
We
Yeah,
won't
that'll
go
take
down.
forever.
That's a whole nother podcast. But we're
Yes.
just asking God, why was it such a heartbreak, or why was I feeling so offended?
Yeah.
Is it something that is it with me? Is it
Yeah.
a trigger of something that I have never dealt with?
Right.
A past issue.
Yeah.
We call them heart blockages, that
Mhm.
we've just never dealt with. And now someone's doing something and we're like, oh, I'm just so offended. But
Right.
again,
It creates
it
walls.
does
It
create
just creates
walls.
these walls, and now your heart is blocked off. And that's why it's so important to live that,
And
like
then what does
Psalms
that do
51.
with your mind?
Right.
What does that do with your mind? Now our mind, we got to deal
You
with that
can't sleep.
battlefield. You can't sleep.
No.
Now you're distracted. You're
Yes.
trying to read the word. You're trying to
Right.
worship, and you're just thinking.
Yeah.
This is where, again,
There's
I love the,
blockage.
the blockage. I love how the Proverbs just tells us the practical ways of what not to do so we can
Mhm.
continue living in a life of freedom.
Yeah.
Of freedom. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. We want to live this life of freedom so we can do all that God has called us to do.
Yeah.
So this is great. I'll tell you, I have to touch on my favorite verse in this chapter, which is verse 21 that says, you can make many plans, but the
Oh,
Lord's
come on.
purpose will prevail. Now, I'm going to
I
tell you,
love that.
but I'm a calendar girl. I will carry my little calendar. I got my phone
Yeah.
calendar and I'm making all these
Yeah.
plans and then boom, nothing happens. Boy,
Look at
I wanted
today.
to.
Today alone, we had to push back this thing a few times.
Yes,
Like,
I did.
we make plans,
But
but
there
it's
was an
just,
accident on my road.
yeah,
There was this.
yeah,
The meeting lasted a little bit longer
absolutely.
than I expected. But listen, when we get into that maturity
Yeah.
and say, Lord, it's your way, your will, and that's where I actually have to ask God to create me a clean heart with,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure that it's good and it's perfect and all this and stuff, but it's His plans that
Yeah.
prevail.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
think
know.
the biggest thing, like, that's where freeing your future
Mm.
can come into play. I think in this chapter, there's a lot about that time that I was talking about. And for the people who are, for me, I'm stuck in the past, right? That's just where my mind goes to.
Mm-hmm.
But for some people, they're so focused on the future. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not saying that I don't focus on the future, think of the future, but some people, they literally live in the future so much that the motives, the drives, the
Mm.
ideas, the plans, what should be good ends up turning into fear and anxiety
Wow,
because
that's
it's
good.
something that they can't control.
Yeah.
So when you think and ponder too much on the future that you can't control, you end up having so much fear and it becomes crippling.
Yes.
It cripples you from being able to act now because you're like, well, I have to do this and this and this, and you're creating all these plans when God has the ultimate plan
He
for your
does.
life. Like He knows the exact, course of your life that you're supposed to go and have what you're supposed to experience. But sometimes we like to just take control of that.
Control.
We love to take
And
control.
control is a part, that derivative from that. It's a fear.
Yeah.
It's a fear thing.
It is. It really is. And the verses that stood out to me was in Proverbs 19 verses 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
where it says, "Desire without knowledge is not good.
Right.
How much more will hasty feet miss the way? A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord." So for some people, it might be that fear and anxiety part, but for other people, it might be so ambitious.
Mm.
Like this is the thing that I heard maybe like, about 2 months ago. This is something that I heard from the Lord. It's ambition without preparation results in chaos.
Ooh, that's good.
And that's literally what this verse is saying. Desire, ambition, without knowledge
Mm.
or preparation. How much more will hasty feet
That's
miss
good.
a way?
That's good.
How many times are you trying to plan and make this thing work and you're so ambitious? You have these desires and goals and dreams to be successful in life and you're just trying to do all these different things to become successful. And what ends up, being your downfall is the fact that you're so ambitious, but you're not willing to prepare yourself to grow in wisdom and knowledge and, favor with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
You're so focused on your life and your own personal goals that you didn't allow God to come in and to prepare you. And now you're wondering why your life is all out of sorts.
There you go.
Maybe it's because you've been so ambitious without that preparation from the Lord, and now your life looks chaotic.
I mean, I just all that I heard right there was motives.
Yeah, motives.
What's your motives? What you're
Motives.
being ambitious. You're going out there and you're trying to get this money. You're trying to show the status. You're trying to show the title. What's the motive?
Yeah.
Again,
What is the motive?
asking God again to search us.
Yeah.
Search
That's
us why.
Psalms 139.
That's 139.
That's 139 where it
Yes.
says that he reminds us that he knows us
Yes.
completely. He knows our motives.
Yes, he knows. He
Our
knows.
motives, our thoughts, our desires. He already knows. He already searched you before you asked him to search yourself.
Boy.
So he knows everything.
So when you're trying to go out there and do this game and, you know, get out there and be ambitious and go to the top and do,
right.
What's the motive behind it?
Right.
We have to be careful.
Is it the Lord's will?
Is it the Lord's will?
You know, I feel like a lot of the times in life we want to be in the Lord's will and we feel like, you know, God, I just don't feel you. But did you ask God if this is the right path that he wants you to be in?
Good.
You know, you're like, why is it so hard? Why am I struggling
Is this his plan? Is
so
this
much
his
in this?
plan? Going back to verse 21, is this his plan or is it my plan?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so good. It's all coming back. We can sit here forever, but we're going to close up. Eric, listen, what area in here do you want to just sum this all up? A closing word for our audience before we leave?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just literally pulling the future and pulling the past and bringing it ground and centered into the present. They call the present, you know, a gift, and it's because it's called the present, you know.
Right.
So there's wisdom in living in the present and living right now in this moment. You can't change the past and you can't control the future. So the only way that you're able to use wisdom and how you're able to actually combat the distortion of time is to live in this moment and to be intentional in this moment. Create a clean heart.
Clean heart.
Renew my mind.
Right.
And search me, Lord.
Search me, O Lord. And trust the Lord. He has your best intention in mind. Thank you so much for being here for day 19. We love you guys. We thank you all for watching. We're going to see you tomorrow for day 20. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another day of our Proverbs Challenge. A big, big, big thank you to our guest speaker. Take what we talked about, sit with it, journal it, and most importantly, live it out. Wisdom grows when we apply it daily. If you want to go deeper, don't forget about our Proverbs Challenge journal, hard copy for $19.99 and digital copy, which is downloadable for $10, created to help you reflect and stay consistent. You can find this on stand.store/resources by Renae. Every dollar goes straight to Life Skills Academy to support and empower lives. Thanks again for showing up today. We'll see you tomorrow for more wisdom, more growth, and more gems straight from Proverbs. God bless you.